Hey guys, I want to make a quick video in hopes that maybe this will help save someone some money or something in the future. ACs stopped working. If you're from the south like I am, this has probably happened to you more than once, and it sucks because it's middle of July and AC stopped running. But my AC stopped running the other day or a couple days ago, and then I didn't get to looking at it until yesterday. And basically just a couple checks you can do before you spend all the money to hire a professional, which I guess you should hire a professional always, but if you're in a pinch or a bind and you gotta look at something quickly, here's what I look for and some lessons I've learned from growing up in the south and having to fix AC units over several different problems, and even winter fixing the heater. So my house, I got kind of lucky. I got a couple different AC setups here, so I can kind of show you guys difference. So yesterday, on this panel here, this is an older unit. AC wasn't working. It was blowing hot air, but wasn't blowing cold air. The upstairs unit in the attic was working. It was pushing air, but it was coming out hot. So I came downstairs and the outside unit was not on. So I was like, okay. So I pulled the breaker over there. You can see the breaker panel. I pulled the breaker, made sure there's no power to it. Then I came over to the capacitor and I discharged it, right? They make discharge pins, but you just ground the terminals out to each other, and they'll kind of draw the power out of them, so you have to worry about shocking yourself. And when I opened the panel, I found these two capacitors in there. You have the starting capacitor and then the two-way capacitor for the fan and the compressor. So if you can see how swollen that one is, how this kind of right down here is pushed up, it's not supposed to be. So I tested it. I don't have a capacitor voltmeter with capacitor testing, but I was able to test it by doing the ground on common and the power and testing the ohms, which there's a million videos out there you can look to do that. And it was bad. So this one tested bad. It was all swollen up. It was bad. And then the starting capacitor, that just looked really nasty, and it was like an extra 40 bucks. So I just went ahead and got one since I was ordering this one. I didn't even test the big one. I'm like, I know this one's bad, so no way I'm gonna get it running without it. So I just went ahead and ordered both of them, and I popped them both in. And like you see, the AC started right up, and it's blowing cold. Everything's nice and dory. Saved the day. Great. But also, just to kind of share some lessons learned I've had, it could be the contactor switch in there, which I don't recommend you play with. Probably hire a professional, but if you're ballsy enough, I guess you could switch it out. I have before on other AC units, but I don't recommend. Probably be better to let someone else do that. But anyways, capacitors, pretty simple. Make sure you take a picture of all the wiring. I'll see if I can get the pictures into this video of mine. But I took a picture of all the wiring, making sure that I got all the wirings correct, and that for the fan, the compressor, common, all that normal stuff. And then it made me think of some other lessons learned. I've learned the hard way with this stuff, with the drain line. So you can see that is pouring out water. Let me see, I don't know how hard you can see it, because the room's like 90. It's like 90 degrees up there now, so it's getting rid of all that. I poured a bunch of bleach in there. I think you're supposed to do white vinegar or something. I never have that, so I just pour bleach. And those drip lines, because they clog up, and anyone from down the south, I'm sure, has dealt with the clog up. I've had them freaking flood entire floors, all kinds of drama. So that's another easy. There's a little safety switch. So if your AC, the upstairs unit, inside unit is not on, there's a safety switch on these drain pipes, and upstairs where it's connected to the main unit. There's a little safety switch, usually like a little round white safety switch, and when it fills up with water, it floats the little float up and shuts it off and kills it, and won't come on. So if the upstairs unit isn't on, and check that safety switch. You can come down here probably once a year or so and vacuum that out, stick like a shop vac up to it, and suck out the water, and so you'll see all the crummy stuff that comes out with it usually. So I probably need to do that this year if you have that. On this side, I have the pumps. So because the units are in a crawl space and you can't really drain up, they have pumps. So what I learned when the winter after this was installed, you'll see how it kind of looks melted. So here's a crazy story. So these were, when they were installed by the AC tech, they kind of lifted up like that. And it got 15 degrees one night. And what happened was water got in there like that and sat there and froze. And so it clogged the line. And so when it froze, 15 degrees outside, it froze, it clogged the line. And so the safety switch on the pump units that underneath the house, the big red light went off on them and they stopped pumping. So then it filled up with water, safety switch kicks on, it kicks the heaters off. So it was like freaking 40 degrees in my house. I'm like, why is it doing that? So I'm out here, I went in a crawl space, and I'm like, why are these brand new heating units not working? And I saw the big bright red light on the pump. So I pulled the hose off and sprayed water everywhere, made a big mess, got me soaking wet. I'm underneath the house, 15 degrees out, I'm soaking wet. And the units kicked on because the water pressure left. So then I had to come out here with a heat gun in the middle of the night, like 2 in the morning, 15 degrees outside, I'm soaking wet with a heat gun, trying to bend that pipe down so it won't clog again, so it won't freeze again. So I heated it up and just tilted it down, tilted the pipes down, so that way when it drains, because when it drains, it squirts out whenever the little pumps fill up in there. So if you have those units, make sure those are always facing down. Lesson learned there. And back to these other ones, a lot of lessons learned here. Make sure that those pipes aren't clogged, because they will, if they clog, they will make a mess upstairs. It'll leak everywhere, it'll leak out the AC unit, cause all kinds of rot. So you can sometimes pull the flow up and test to see if that's it, and sometimes the AC unit will kick on. But usually just come up here once a year. They make some pipe mold killer stuff. Use bleach, white vinegar, whatever you got, I would say, but whatever you want to do. But yeah, those are some lessons learned, and those are cheap lessons learned to do for yourself. You know, check the drain pipe, make sure it's not clogged, because that's a lot of time the issues. And then if you're willing, you can get the capacitors like I got here, and you can see that one looked toasty. So I didn't even test that. I just went ahead and replaced it, since I had to replace this one. But that one's bulged up. You can see how it's bulged up. It's supposed to be flat right in the bottom plate. And then it tested bad with the ohm meter. So this was like $15 and this was like $40. So I got like 55 bucks in replacing it, which if you were to call an AC technician, they would charge you more than that just for showing up, not to count the price of this. Amazon got it to me next day. Make sure that you get the right Farron. Like I got 45, so 40 for the compressor and 5 for the fan, I believe that is 370. So you just type that stuff in Amazon, it'll kind of pump out. And then these, you make sure that you know it's the 135, 162, 330, 50, 60 hertz. So make sure you just get the right ones. Amazon sells them, next days them to you. And my unit, as you can hear, is up and running, good to go. All kinds of good stuff. So just make sure, and I went and popped that in and went inside. I'm sure that's gonna be draining out water for a while, because I poured a bunch of bleach in there, and it's like 90 degrees in that room, so upstairs, so it's going to be cooling that down for a while. But these are just some lessons learned. I hope it helps someone. These are pretty simple. Just make sure you take the picture of the wirings, plug them up. You got the common, you got the fan, and you got the hermetic compressor right there. Common is just your ground, fan is obviously your fan, compressor is your compressor. So those are the two-way switches. So just make sure you take pictures of your wiring, and make sure you discharge them. Make sure you touch all these leads together with a metal while you're holding the insulated part of a screwdriver or something rubber, so you don't shock yourself. and it'll kill the charge in it. Or they make little pins that discharge these things too. But I don't have one of those. And then here, this one just looked toast, so I just went ahead and replaced it since I was replacing this one too. So that was my problem. It got the unit up and running. So these are just some lessons learned that from growing up in the South. Make sure you vacuum these out. Make sure you pour some mold killing stuff in there every once in a while. And you can check that first if your AC unit stopped working. If you got the pumps, make sure the pumps are down, because they'll freeze in the winter and really suck to get out. But yeah, those are just some lessons learned I thought maybe I'd share. Yeah, hopefully people's pressures don't look that bad, but hopefully it'll save someone a few bucks. Or if you're in a pinch on a weekend and you don't have the money to pay the $300 daily charge or whatever the deal is, you know, there's some easy things to check. The drain lines, because if those clog, they will shut off your engine. They have an emergency kill switch thing on them, that if they clog, it stops them. Or the capacitors. And this is probably the second, third AC unit I've had that capacitor has gone bad, and so I've replaced a bunch of them. So I feel pretty comfortable with it, but you can see the bulge in it, you know it's bad. And then yeah, and so all I did was swap them out. Good to go, easy wiring. But like I said, if you don't feel comfortable with that, please call a pro, especially if you don't feel comfortable with it. However, those are some easy things to check, so I thought I'd share. Thanks for watching.